You could be making $100,000 a year and still be broke. Sounds crazy, right? But here's the uncomfortable truth. Your salary doesn't determine your wealth. Your cash flow does. And most people have no idea what that actually means. By the end of this video, you'll understand why so many high earners live paycheck to paycheck, while some people earning half as much build real wealth. Let's dive in. Imagine you're holding a bucket. This bucket represents your financial life. Now, picture turning on a water hose and filling that bucket. The water flowing in is your income. Your salary, your side hustle, whatever money comes your way. Feels good, right? Water's pouring in, but here's the problem. Your bucket has holes in it, and for most people, those holes are huge. Every hole represents money flowing out. Your rent or mortgage, that's a big hole. Your car payment, another hole. Subscriptions you forgot you signed up for. More holes, eating out 4 times a week. Holes, that daily coffee shop visit, you guessed it. Another hole. Now here's where it gets interesting. You can have a fire hose pouring water into your bucket. But if your holes are bigger than your inflow, you'll never fill that bucket. You'll always be scrambling, always be stressed, always be broke. This is exactly what happens to people making 6 figures who can't cover an emergency expense. Their inflow looks impressive, but their outflow is even more impressive. They've got the luxury car lease, the expensive apartment in the trendy neighborhood, the lifestyle that looks amazing on social media. All those holes draining their bucket faster than they can fill it. Let me introduce you to 2 people, Sarah and Mike. Sarah makes $60,000 a year as a teacher. Mike makes $120,000 as a software engineer. On paper, Mike is crushing it. He's making double what Sarah earns, but let's look at their buckets. Mike lives in a downtown loft that costs $3,000 a month. He drives a BMW with a $700 monthly payment. He eats out most days because he's too busy to cook. Grabs coffee every morning at the fancy place. Has the premium everything. Streaming services, gym membership, the works. His lifestyle costs him about $9,000 a month. That's $108,000 a year. He's got $12,000 left. Sounds okay until you remember taxes exist. After taxes, Mike is actually spending more than he makes. His bucket is empty. He's got nothing saved. No investments. Living month to month despite that impressive salary. Now look at Sarah. She rents a modest apartment for $1,200 a month. Drives a paid-off Honda. Meal preps on Sundays. Makes coffee at home. Her lifestyle costs about $3,000 a month. That's $36,000 a year. She's got $24,000 left from her $60,000 salary. After taxes, she's still saving about $1,500 every month. $18,000 a year going into investments. Sarah's bucket is filling up. Mike's is bone dry. This is the difference between income and cash flow. Income is just the water coming in. Cash flow is what's left after all those holes drain your bucket. And here's the kicker. Positive cash flow is how you build wealth, not your salary, not your job title, not how impressive you sound at parties. It's the gap between what comes in and what goes out. But we're not done yet, because there's another level to this. Let's talk about net worth. Your net worth is everything you own minus everything you owe. It's your total financial picture. And this is where things get really interesting. Because you can have positive cash flow and still not build wealth if you don't understand this next part. Going back to Sarah, she's saving $18,000 a year. Good for her, but what's she doing with it? If it's just sitting in a regular savings account earning almost nothing, she's missing the real opportunity. This is where assets come in. Assets are things that put more water in your bucket. They're reverse holes. Instead of draining your bucket, they fill it. Think of it this way. Sarah takes some of that saved money and invests it in dividend-paying stocks. Now those stocks pay her money every quarter. That's water flowing into her bucket without her having to work for it. She buys a small rental property. Now she's got a tenant paying rent every month. More water flowing in. She starts a small online business selling digital products. Once it's set up, it generates income while she sleeps. Even more water. These are income-generating assets. They're the secret weapon of people who build real wealth. They don't just plug the holes in their bucket. They create new sources of water flowing in. And here's the beautiful part. As you build more assets, you need your job less and less. Your bucket fills from multiple sources. Most people focus entirely on making the water hose bigger. They want raises, promotions, better jobs, and sure, more income is great. But if you don't fix the holes and you don't create additional water sources, you're running on a hamster wheel. You'll always need that job. You'll always be one layoff away from disaster. You'll always feel broke no matter how much you make. Let me give you another example. Think about your cell phone bill. Most people pay $70 to $100 a month for their phone plan. That's a hole in your bucket of about $1,000 a year. Now imagine you take an hour to research and switch to a budget carrier that gives you the same service for $30 a month. You just plugged a hole that was draining $840 annually. That's $840 that can now go toward building assets. Multiply that thinking across every expense. Your insurance, your subscriptions, your utilities, your groceries. Most people have thousands of dollars in holes they could plug without sacrificing their quality of life. They're just paying for things on autopilot, never questioning, never optimizing. Meanwhile, their bucket stays empty. Here's another truth bomb. Debt is a hole with a drill attached to it. It makes the hole bigger over time. Credit card debt at 20% interest isn't just a hole. It's a hole that grows. If you owe $5,000 on a credit card and only make minimum payments, you're paying interest that makes that hole massive. That $5,000 hole becomes a $7,000 hole, then $9,000. The water drains faster and faster. This is why people stay broke. They finance everything. The car, the furniture, the vacation, the wedding, every financed purchase is a hole with a drill, and those drills run on interest. They make your holes bigger while you're trying to fill your bucket. It's financial quicksand. So what's the solution? How do you actually build wealth? First, you need to see your bucket clearly. Track every dollar coming in and going out for 1 month, every single dollar. This isn't about judgment, it's about awareness. You can't fix holes you don't know exist. Most people are shocked when they actually see where their money goes. Second, plug the stupid holes. Not all holes are equal. Some are necessary. You need housing, you need food, you need transportation. But that subscription box you never use, plug it. Eating out 6 times a week when you could meal prep, plug it. The car payment on a vehicle that's more about ego than transportation, plug it. Be ruthless with the unnecessary holes. Third, increase your inflow. Yes, make more money, but do it strategically. Don't just work more hours at your current job. Think about skills you can develop that increase your value. Think about side income streams. Think about how to make your income hose bigger without making your life miserable. Fourth, and this is the most important part, build assets that create new water sources. Start investing. Even if it's just $50 a month, those investments compound over time. They create dividends, they grow. Learn about index funds, real estate, starting a business, creating digital products. Find ways to make money work for you instead of you always working for money. Here's what wealth actually looks like. It's not the fancy car or the big house. Real wealth is having more water flowing into your bucket than flowing out. It's having assets that generate income without your direct effort. It's having options, freedom. The ability to say no to things you don't want to do. That's wealth. And it's available to anyone who understands cash flow. You don't need to make $1 million a year. You need to keep more than you spend and invest the difference wisely. Sarah making $60,000 with positive cash flow and growing assets will be wealthier than Mike making $120 and spending it all. Every single time, without exception. The system wants you to focus on income. It wants you to chase raises and promotions while ignoring the holes in your bucket. Because consumers with holes keep the economy spinning. But builders with assets create generational wealth. Which one do you want to be? Start today, look at your bucket, find your holes, plug what you can. Build assets that create new income streams. Understand that cash flow, not income, determines your financial future. This is the truth most people learn too late. You're learning it now. What you do with this information will determine whether you stay broke or build real wealth. The choice is yours.